How would you feel if you were trapped? Trapped because you could no longer hear the world around you. Whether it was something that you could not control or something that was your own doing. How would you feel in a world of silence? My name is Tora and this is my review of Kyoto Animation's A Silent Voice. This film is breathtaking. It's just amazing. But why? At its core, it's an anime that teaches us to value other people and that we should treat people how we would want to be treated. However, it is so much more than that. It takes us on a story that teaches us that life is not perfect, no one's perfect, and no matter what, you just have to get through it, and that the things we do in our childhood will eventually come to affect us in our adulthood. But why do so many people like A Silent Voice so much? A movie that came out nearly 4 months after Your Name, a critically acclaimed, beautifully stunning work of art. Something so breathtaking. That's why people say A Silent Voice was unfortunately made at the wrong time. Even though these two movies are beautiful, putting the visuals aside, as visuals are not always everything, as the story must come first, A Silent Voice has that edge over Your Name. It has a story. It has a story that is real because it can feel real, and it is most certainly a story that I'm sure around the world, for many people, is real because it is their lives that they live. A Silent Voice has one main theme. One main theme that encircles the entire movie, and that is sound, or lack thereof. But what do you do when you have to have a movie with someone who is deaf? Meaning you have to remove sound. So with sound gone, you must now tell a story in another light. And that is where A Silent Voice shines. It now tells the story through body language. It now tells the story through enhanced visuals, through the fact that we have no sound. So we have visuals, and the sound is there in the background. So then, with sound gone or faded, how do you make characters interact with one another? How do you make them express their emotion? So with our two main characters, Shoko and Shoya, we have to interact them in a different way. And that's where Shoko comes in. She wants to be heard. She will be heard. She will do anything to be heard. She will scream, she will punch, she will fight. She just wants to be heard. She'll do anything because she can't speak properly. She just wants to be heard by a boy that doesn't want to listen. By a boy that chose silence himself. Because Shoko could not control the fact that she cannot hear. She's trapped in a world of silence that was not of her doing. Whereas Shoya is trapped in a world that he made himself. He made himself isolated. And he made a world of silence for his own. So with this we get an enhanced use of body language, sign language, and other ways to communicate. As while one chooses not to interact with the world and shut him out as though he is deaf, and another who is actually deaf and cannot speak. So throughout the story we get a steady progression, a progression of time mixed in with flashbacks to backstories to fill in how they got to their situation and why is it that Shoya regrets what he did when he was younger, to show the events of what he does in his later life. This film is really well put together with lots of points of rising tension put into characters and not quite showing what is happening, giving us our own impression of what we can see as they cut between characters and show us their reaction, making us guess what is actually happening. And then, for example, they'll show what actually happened, and then we may be relieved that what we thought was going to happen didn't actually happen. And it does all this without the use of very much sound. It does it all through clever visuals and clever editing to cut it together to give us an impression of what we think will happen. By cutting out sound, we're immersed in what is going on right in front of us. But what makes it all the more impactful is the fact that it could be real. These are real events that could happen in real life, and they are events that more than likely has happened and are happening right now, as it tackles some troubling messages of mental health and how mental health can affect people. So with an array of characters that we learn about, an array of characters that we grow up with, that we learn their stories, we learn where they came from, we'll learn where they're at, and we get shown who they are, who they love, who they fall out with amazing animation, with sound that isn't always there but is the most important part of the movie. So why would you not want to go on this emotional roller coaster, learning about their lives, learning about events that are real, learning about their lives that are real, learning about events that are real, and learning about a story that is beautiful and real. I've been Tora, and this has been my review of Kyoto Animation's A Silent Voice. So how would you feel in a world of silence?